Hello and welcome back to Legacy Undercover. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we'll be exploring something we've been missing for a while. Something we've been seeing though, it's been in the background since literally the beginning of the entire game. Literally the opening cutscene. And we have seen how we get there. This box here that I deliberately ignored when we were exploring King's Court. If we pull on this, it gives us a little bit of a secret. A new cameo from Mario stuff. A little green pipe. What do green pipes do in Mario? Let's see. Of course, they transport you somewhere. Where could this possibly take us that we haven't been yet, but we've been seeing pretty much throughout the entire game on and off in the background? I quite like the way this area is teased like that. We are in fact on Liberty Island. Which is a pretty cool kind of, I like the way that they kind of have that teased throughout the entire game pretty much. You see it right from the opening cutscene, with the boat pulling in past it, that kind of stuff. But now we're finally here, right at the end where there's nothing else to do except for all of the stuff. And of course this area has at least one of every single thing to do. So let's finish every single collectible in the game, right here, right now. I also quite like that they're all kind of clustered around the base of the statue as well. Like you see like a pig and its cannon in two different notches. You see the boulder in one notch. Here I'm just kind of letting it catch up with itself. Don't end up with like queuing too many of these up, it might cause problems. There we go.
Another task finished off. You're on fire today, Chase.
So,
another task finished off. You're on fire today.
Okay, it's kind of hilarious when we do everything all at once. But here we can just jump up to get the demolition dummy. Over here we have our pig cannon, but we just need to find a pig for it first. I quite like the way all the collectibles are kind of clustered around the base of the statue. It's a pretty cool kind of set piece. And it feels very interesting as well because it feels kind of appropriate that every character has an equal amount of stuff to do in this area, roughly speaking, because of what Lady Liberty generally represents, which is a kind of coming together of all peoples into one place to do whatever they feel like doing there, you know, like the whole liberty aspect of things. It feels appropriate that every job gets its own niche to play with here, and none of them really overpower any others. Over here, of course, we have our final ferry. So let's build it, shall we? And our final super build as well. 15,000 bricks. That's cute. So we have 500 of them, 1,000 of them for now. So there's our final super build built as well. Again, I quite like the way this area is put together. It feels very good to explore. And it's an interesting way of capping off the game, sort of, because it's generally the last area you'd think to go to, because the whole Rex Fury thing, it's like, well, not necessarily the last area you'd get to, but I left it to the last because it felt significant. Because it's the only area we've never actually been to, and here we get some interesting tokens like Ellie Phillips over here. Appropriately in the information booth, because she is the information girl, generally, and the costume girl, and generally the smart one in the police station. She is the competent member of the group. Let's take our final coffee break. Unfortunately, the Union can protect us no longer. We have no more coffee breaks to take. But from the coffee breaks, we unlock Albert Spindle Router. And we also have our ATM over here. After we've let the counter finish off, there we are.
That's another job checked off the list, Chase. Well
yeah, that
done.
last booth had been teasing us from the beginning of the game, so that was good to get as well. That's this guy's booth. We've had all of them except for that one since like halfway through the game. And same with these ATMs pretty much. It's good to finally catch up with those kind of things where you have most stuff but not all of the stuff. Let's finally deal with this piggy, shall we? Thanks for interrupting the music, mate.
That's another job checked off the list, Chase. Well done.
Yeah, it's quite fun though because it's so rapid fire as well. Everything just kind of happens all at once. It's all just happening and happening and happening again, and then you find more stuff and that happens. And it just keeps going and going, and it feels really good to play through as a result because it's a really short area, despite having one of everything, practically speaking, and having the most character tokens per capita, just because it's the only way you get all the rest of the collectibles. So it's kind of by default, even though it only has 6 character tokens actually scattered around the area, you generally finish all the tasks here.
Whoa! Is there anything you can't do, Chase? Congratulations!
Here we have our final alien as well. Feels a little counter to the whole idea of Liberty to capture him, but then again, we have to do what we have to do. And I like from here that you can kind of see all the rest of the city as well, like in the distance, doing its own thing. All the areas have already cleared out. It generally is a really good focal point, and I quite like it for that.
Whoa! Is there anything you can't do, Chase?
One thing that's kind of a shame though is that Ellie has kind of stock phrases for most stuff, like for the vehicle chasers with the thieves from who are trying to steal vehicles from you, and the gang, she has her own unique dialogue for those, but for these it's just kind of a generic canned line, and that's kind of a shame. But here we finally have our last troublemaker as well. That's the set complete, that's nice. We have these flowers to deal with over here as well. Generally this area is fairly well put together, and I like that it's not completely symmetrical as well. I mean, it's roughly symmetrical. In a kind of, well, it's not rotationally symmetrical, if you know what I mean. It's symmetrical down the middle, but it's got enough like little kinks and everything like that on the edges to keep it interesting. But that's so that you have landmarks for certain things you need to do here.
That's another job checked off the list, Chase. Well done.
So let's finally do some more drilling, shall we? And finish that off too. This is a fairly sprawling one because of how little room there is to really put it, but I like the way they kind of pack it all in there. So you still have about the same amount of things, about the mid-30s. They generally range between like 30 and 40, I think. Between 35 and 45 anyway. Yeah, this area I left till last because it feels climactic, and I quite like that for it. Partially because of the nature of it being kind of even-handed, because you don't how many jobs get this much stuff to do. The most interesting thing is there are no super bricks here as well. Absolutely none, it's all gold bricks, and I quite like that as well. Because that's probably what makes it stand out as well, that you never get any super bricks here, and that's probably why, that's why I had a feeling it's probably the last area you're supposed to get to. Because it has no super bricks, because it's assuming you've already got enough to do everything you need to do.
Whoa!
And by the time you've done here, there's nothing else for you to do, so of course it would give you any super bricks here, what would be the point? I think it's what they're going for anyway. So let's finally take count of the last of Rex Fury's little, very oppressive statues as well. I just quite like how satisfying this area is because you just get so much stuff and it's so rapid fire, not just character tokens but gold bricks and just everything. It just kind of, it's a really satisfying area to leave till last, even though you could theoretically do it earlier as soon as you got Rex Fury in the thing. Like as soon you could always come here first in post game really, but it wouldn't be as satisfying because you wouldn't be getting all the stuff in the world all at once, and that's just a really fun thing to do here. Because it's one area where you just don't really get lost, because it's so small there's nowhere to really get lost. Of course, those can be kind of tricky to find, those viewfinders you have to build. And that's kind of tricky, but they're also in fairly obvious places, and there's not that many benches around the edges, and there's a lot of places where they just wouldn't be because of symmetry, like those areas there with those benches. So you can kind of tell from a design standpoint where they couldn't possibly go. And here they kind of stand out, so it's a good way of showing you there's something here, do something here. The appropriate viewfinders give us the Explorer.
What?
Also, something interesting, there's a bit of a weird glitch with this game where when you get all of the character tokens and buy them all and everything like that, the special characters, categories both 1 and 2, tend to end with like one missing, so to speak, when it comes to their counts. Like you see you have all of the character tokens, they're all coloured in, that kind of thing, and you can see you've bought them all, but it still says like 46 out of 47. And I think that's because the it doesn't quite know what to do with the pop star and the super wrestler, so it kind of confuses things a little bit. Something like that, anyway. This can be a bit tricky because this bike turns on a dime, but luckily, because of that, it's very easy to orient yourself if you screw up like that. It's a very easy race, which is satisfying. It's a nice little vehicle as well to play with. It's a fun vehicle to control. It's not like overly slow or boring or annoying. And I like all the figure eights around Lady Liberty you end up doing as well. Again, it gives you a really good chance to see the entire island. And the entire city from the outside of it as well. There we go, there's all time trials as well. Not much more to go now. So let's finally get climbing, shall we? And get to an aspect of this game, or this part of the game at least, that I take a bit of umbrage with, but we'll see that when we get to the top of the statue, shall we? So of course that's where we're going. Where else would the highest point on this island be? And I quite like to see the end point there as well, with the other rail going down as well. It's a good kind of teaser for what you're coming up to. So of course here we have to go the long way around using these little ledges, so let's do so, shall we? Of course, the first one we come to is the actual teleport that gets us up here. This is the part that annoys me. It looks like you should be able to put that fire out, but I just couldn't find a good angle. Nothing was working at all. And you can't get on that ledge as well because it's too hard and it just bounces them straight off, even though it looks like there's something to grip there. So like, I have a feeling you're supposed to be able to put that out, but I just couldn't get the angle right, and then trying to get on there and just that happens, so it just doesn't do anything there at all. It's very annoying, because it looks like you should be able to put that out, and I have a feeling you're supposed to be able to, but it's just not working for me. Luckily, you don't need to put it out, because after a while I just give up and move on. But it's just not a particularly pleasant thing to be confronted with, a hazard you just can't get rid of. But let's just go around it, screw it. Easy enough. And for our final red brick too, the Mario hat. Appropriately, the final red brick is also a cameo. That film feels to me kind of like the agency building in Crackdown. I know I've compared other things to that as well, but mostly because of the way it starts at the bottom and goes all the way to the top and then takes you right back down to the bottom again, like the races at the agency building there do. It's a similar flow, even if it's much easier. There's our final cat rescued as well. I don't know how it got all the way out here, we must have to swim quite a long way, but there we go. For that we get our fireman chief as well. I believe he said his favourite flavour of cake was devil food? Of course, before we actually do the free run, which will teleport us back to the bottom anyway, we have something else to do up here first. So before the free run, let's get back to the base of the statue, well, the upper base, so that we can finally finish going all the way around it. Because you can see there's something else at her feet. We meant to take the villagers right inside the place, but screw that. Just get around it like that. Easier and faster. And what's the astronaut meant to be if not a little bit faster? Oh, slipped off there. That looked fairly precarious. But let's mark our final piece of territory, shall we? Our final district conquered. And we get Rex Fury astronauts as well for that, which is quite cool. Seems appropriate. It's a very megalomaniacal thing to do, isn't it? Conquering an entire city. We have done what Rex failed to do.
Another task finished off. You're on fire today, Chase.
So finally, let's wait for it to save so we can spawn our actual starting point and finish this off, shall we? Also, this only has 3 things as well, 3 clocks to pick up, and 2 of them are right here, which is a very strange placement. Really, it looks like it should be on the ledge a bit, but it's not. Like, it feels like the clock should have been on the ledge. Yeah, like around here, maybe. But putting it there seems a bit odd. It makes double back for no reason, and that's a bit strange. It's like they ran out of places for them. But of course, we actually don't need that torch at all, because the clock actually spawns here, but not in the torch, which would have been mean. So let's just skip that torch and tally again, and finally get our final pre-run done. There we are. Boom. We get a hockey player for that. Now we only have 19 gold bricks to get. But we have everything we have to get here now. That's the Liberty Island complete. So where do we get those remaining 19 bricks? I wonder. So next time, we'll come full circle. We'll get those last 19 bricks. So I'll see you then. Goodbye.